I don't really have a lot of faith in the right. So you tend to criticize the people that you line up more, that you care more about, and that would be the Democrats for me. People lost trust in them because the voters were saying there was a concern. There were people across the board saying they had a concern. And the Democrats said, no, over here, look over here. They told the voters what to care about, and they did not listen when the voters said they cared. So these stories come out aren't about beating a dead horse. It's saying if they could have a fair conversation that we heard you, we saw it as they saw it, they'd be gaining some of the voters back to say, okay, we're not going to keep saying that.
You agree with that?
No, I don't.
Of course, she has to turn to Sunny Hostin because she knows that Sunny Hostin is going to give the most radical, delusional take. Imagine. And trust me, she's not going to fail you. Everything she said, guys, trust me, everything that she says is a lie.
I think that I want to move on from why the Democratic Party lost, and I want to hear from the Democratic Party about how we are going to take our country back and how what they are going to do to combat fascism and what they're going to do to stop the Medicaid cuts that are going on, to stop giving tax cuts to billionaires, to stop taking federal workers' pensions away, to stop taking federal jobs away, to stop taking education away.
Guys, Sunny Hostin sitting up there lying her ass off. I mean, seriously. See, one of the reasons why I get on their ass so hard, because a lot of people listen to these women. These are some stupid women on this panel. The only smart one is the actual youngest one on there, which is Alyssa Farah Griffin. She's the only one that got some good sense. All these old ass women don't have any sense. Now, Sarah Haynes, she says reasonable stuff here and there, but the only one that has good sense on there is Alyssa Griffin.
To stop attacking our institutions, to stopping, why is this Trump administration stopping medical research, cancer? I want.
She's still lying her ass off. Trump is not stopping medical research.
To talk about why this administration is giving refugee status to South African white Afrikaners as opposed to Afghans and Ukrainians and people of color. That's what I want to talk about.
I think that Sarah's point is that they have to admit what they did wrong before we can move on to that.
But there's also a reality here.
Yeah.
And we all know that the Democrats don't like admitting when they went wrong at.
So we know, this table spends a lot of time criticizing Donald Trump, and a lot of it is very valid and needs to happen. But it is a fact his approval rating is 39%.
It's higher than the Democratic Party.
However, Democrats...
Okay, now see, right there, she's lying because his approval rating is much higher than that. I think it's around like in the 50s. So right there, his approval rating was never 39%. It was always pretty much in the 50s. So that right there was a lie.
Democrats is 27%. People felt gaslit and lied to. In 2023,
part of that, I think
the
low ratings for the Democrats, I think, partly, I may be making this up, is because they haven't fought hard enough at what she's talking about.
That may be part.
I mean, fought how? I'm always interested in when they always saying you gotta fight more. Fight how? I mean, do what? I mean, how? Like, fight hard how? You lost. You have to come to the table. You have to come to the winner's table. You see, these people have this shit backwards. These silly ass women on this show, they have this shit backwards. They want the winners to come to their table. No, you have to come to the winner's table. You lost. There is no fighting harder. There is nothing you can do. I mean, fight harder how? Do what? Notice they never specify that.
Why is it so angry with the Democrats for being bad?
77% of Americans in 2023 said Joe Biden was too old to run again. And they were told, sit down, shut up, he is the nominee. And then when it became untenable and he stepped aside, they anointed Kamala Harris. There was not a primary, there was not a Democratic process. And then when she lost, they said, don't look backward, we're moving forward, we're not even going to talk about why we didn't listen to you. We had Joe Biden here last week. It was an honor to have him. I think he is a good man. I do not think he could have been president for 4 more years. The hardest
And do you
job
think
on the planet.
can this guy be president?
He was
4 more
elected.
years?
I didn't vote for it.
Real quickly,
to tell
but
you
he
something.
also, President Biden took responsibility at this table, which is something that I'm frustrated with the Democrats. He
Yeah,
said,
he did take
this falls
responsibility.
on me. And I said that was the clearest answer of what people needed to hear.
So look, I have known Joe Biden, I've said 300 times for 25, 30 years. Do I think this is the same man that I knew 25 years ago? No, it's not. Is his voice as strong? No, it's not. Is he more frail? Does he walk with a more faltering step? Yes, he does. He is not the same person. What his spokespeople keep saying is, was there any instance that you can point to where his cognitive skill in performing the job as president was compromised? And they haven't come up with that. I hate these campaign books where people talk anonymously. If you were part of that administration and didn't have the gonads to speak when you were part of that administration, and now you are speaking and doing it anonymously, frankly, I don't think this reflects bad on Joe Biden. I think it reflects bad on you because you are a complicit coward.
I actually agree with everything. I actually agree with what she just said, because you have a lot of Democrats out here acting like they didn't have they acting like they didn't have no kind of knowledge that Joe Biden was declining, or he was mentally incompetent. They went while they was the ones who was covering up for him and defending them. Those same ones. So yeah, I actually agree with that. A lot of these Democrats are cowards, have no backbone, have no spine, because they wouldn't step up and say do the right thing.
Or was there a culture within the White House that people felt that they couldn't speak truth to power?
Frankly, I've never
people
been part
are
of a
saying-
culture
Y'all
that
know
gets
that.
silenced. I have never been a part of a culture
But
that feels
people who
fear.
are
I have
quoted
been a
in this
part of a
book-
culture that calls a spade, whether they
People
are in
quoted-
power or not.
People
That's who I
are
am.
quoted in this book of saying they
Not in the Democrat Party though, because if you speak out and if you call something out, trust me, they'll oust your ass. We all know that. We've all seen it. So I don't know what this bitch talking about, but she was doing good for a second. Then now she went back left again.
would be boxed out of meetings if they raise concerns. And there's very specific examples. George Clooney goes on the record to Jake Tapper and says he moved mountains. He flew in from Italy to do this record fundraiser for Joe Biden. Joe Biden didn't recognize George Clooney. One of the most recognizable,
lately.
one of the most recognizable men on the planet. And now that's not a presidential duty.
That shit ain't funny. Guys, this is an 82-year-old woman, y'all. This is an 82-year-old woman. You would think at her age, you would get some kind of intelligent response, but it's very difficult for Joy Behar to do that. That is a very stupid old woman. She is not, guys. I know that I say this shit all the time. Joy Behar is not a smart woman.
It's not the job. You don't have to recognize George Clooney. But does that give you confidence that in the middle of the night, if China's about to attack us, there's a war breaking out in Iran, that he is the sharpest person to be able to handle that?
Which administration texted war plans to their brother?
The Trump. But it's
Was
just
that
like
Joe Biden? No.
So whenever you put the spotlight on Joe Biden, it's always, with these women, is always deflect and throw it back on Trump. That's very immature. And these are grown women. I mean, look at the immature response that you get from this 82-year-old woman. I mean, seriously. Guys, like I said, I'm going to say this shit once again. Whenever you put the spotlight on Joe Biden or anybody in the Democrats, they always deflect and throw it back on Trump. They blame Trump for shit that he don't even have nothing to do with.
But do we just keep lowering the bar because Trump is bad? Nothing else is bad because Trump is bad?
But I do.
Well, that can also be true.
Yeah,
But
but
I do- no, but I-
the ship has sailed. It's out in the ocean somewhere with Biden.
We have Trump.
It's over. Get over it.
No, we have Trump.
Okay, so get over it now. Get over it. But you can't get over your Trump derangement syndrome. You can't get over, you can get over Joe Biden's mistakes, but you can't get over your Trump derangement syndrome. So let's take it that way then. Since we supposed to get over Joe Biden and his health decline, you get over your motherfucking Trump derangement syndrome. Tomorrow, when you get on when you do another show, go cold turkey without talking about Trump. That's what you do.
Because you guys screwed this up, with all due respect.
All right, but does it help to just keep going over the same material about Biden over and over again?
I actually think we
I
have
mean,
Trump
really.
because the Trump administration, Trump lied to people. I think
Just like she's about to lie right now. Guys, anytime Sunny Hostin says something, it's always it always has a negative slate to it, and it's always operated in bad faith.
That's why we.
Well, he won more votes. That is a fact.
I think he lied to his base. I think he told his base that they were going to their overtime would not be taxed. That was a lie.
Actually, that's in the new tax bill.
Yeah, see, it's in the new tax bill. It's in the bill. What are you talking about?
It's literally in the tax bill.
They had to fight to put that in. They had to fight to put that back in.
See, now she's pretty much just making shit up. They had to fight to put it back in there. It was always in the tax bill. What are you talking about? I mean, she's really sitting here lying her ass off. She's lying to you. And like I said, people sit up here and listen to these women and believe everything that they say. That dumbass audience that's sitting out there clapping and shit for them, they actually believe what these women are telling them.
And he had every intention of taking away that.
That's not true. He ran out.
Based off what?
No tax on tips, and it's in the tax bill.
Yeah, but it wasn't in it originally. I also think
it was always in the tax bill. What is she, guys? She's just making shit up. See, women like Sunny Hostin, she banks on you to not do your research. See, the people who listen to her, they don't do no research. They just listen to what she says and blindly follows.
Being drafted
that a lot of
now.
people are, and Swazi pointed it out that it wasn't in there. I think the other thing that people need to realize is that they were lied to. Federal
Just like
workers
you
that
lying.
voted for him, farmers that voted
fixed
for
the
him,
border,
they were lied to. That is why we have Trump, not because
And I'm going to give
any
you
other driving
Okay, I'm
force.
going to give you the last word. Go ahead.
Guys, pretty much everything Sunny Hostin just, I would say that pretty much everything she just said, she was lying. She was lying her ass off. She was just pretty much making shit up as she go along. And Melissa Griffin fact checked her once again for their 1,000th time. It's a shame that people sit up. I mean, these women are so Trump deranged. They're so out of touch with reality. Seriously, these women are seriously detached from reality. And they're so out of touch. They're wildly out of touch. But anyway, y'all, this your boy Mazel Capone. Let me know what you think in the comments, man. Like and subscribe, man. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I'm out.